Hello everyone, welcome back to our daily talk show. This is Teacher Stephen and Teacher Julia. Well, Julia, I think this tense gets a bad rap for sounding way more complicated than it actually is. Every time I mention future perfect continuous to my students, they give me that deer in headlights look. Have you noticed that too?
Oh, totally. Stephen, I remember the first time I heard the phrase, my brain just shut down for a second. But really, it just means talking about an action that will be ongoing up to a point in the future. It's like drawing a line from now until some future moment, and the action keeps happening along that line.
Exactly. I like to say it's the tense for showing off how long something will have been happening. Like, by next year, I will have been teaching for 10 years. It's not just about the future, it's about the progress up to that future point.
That's a great way to put it. And funny enough, once students see a few examples, it gets a lot easier to recognize and use. Maybe we should break down how it's formed, just to make things super clear before we dive into more examples.
So, here's the formula I always draw on the board. Subject plus will have been plus the verb with ing. For example, she will have been working at the company for 5 years.
What really helps me is thinking of the 3 ingredients. The future part with will, the perfect part with have, and then been plus that continuous ing. It's like a tense sandwich.
Haha, a tense sandwich, I love that. And then we sprinkle in time expressions like for, by, or when. For example, by the time you arrive, I will have been studying for 3 hours.
That makes it so much clearer. I used to forget the been part, honestly, but once you hear enough of these, it gets stuck in your brain. Speaking of examples, should we try tossing in a few situations where you'd actually use this tense?
Oh, for sure. Think about waiting for a friend at a cafe. If they've kept you waiting forever, you might text, "By the time you get here, I will have been sitting alone for 40 minutes.
That's so real. Or planning a big anniversary. Next month, we will have been married for 20 years. It just adds that sense of duration and accomplishment.
I agree. It's perfect for showing off milestones. And sometimes it even works for uncomfortable situations. Like, by the end of this meeting, we will have been discussing this topic for 2 hours.
I had that feeling just yesterday. There's something about this tense that makes you feel the weight of time, whether it's something you're proud of or just tired of waiting. But now, what about common mistakes? I hear some funny ones in class.
One thing I see a lot is students mixing up the future perfect and the future perfect continuous. They'll say, "I will have finished homework by 8 p.m." instead of, "I will have been doing homework for 2 hours by 8 p.m.
It's easy to get tangled there, especially since both use will have. But the continuous is always about the ongoing part, like the process, not just the result. Another hiccup is forgetting been. I hear will have working sometimes, which sounds so off.
That missing been is the classic slip. I usually tell students to chant it in their heads. We'll have B-E-E-N doing. Sometimes a silly chant helps cement it.
Honestly, little tricks like that make all the difference. And one more thing, students sometimes try using it with verbs that don't really have a progressive sense, like know or believe. Maybe we should clarify when this tense actually works best.
Absolutely, that's a common question. You can't really say, "I will have been knowing the answer for 2 hours." It just sounds weird, right?
Exactly, because verbs like know, believe, or love describe states, not actions you watch unfold. The future perfect continuous is great for activities you can picture happening over time, like running, working, or studying.
So, if you stick to action verbs, you're safe. One way I frame it is, can you imagine the action taking place, bit by bit? If yes, go for the future perfect continuous.
That helps so much. And hey, as a final thought, if students remember to focus on the duration and picture the action in progress, this tense actually becomes pretty fun to use.
Now, I'm curious, Julia. Do you have any quick activities or games students can use to practice this tense without getting bored?
Definitely. I love having students create a timeline of their future goals and then fill in sentences like, by 2030, I will have been learning Spanish for 12 years. It makes the learning personal.
I love that idea. I sometimes play a guessing game. One student says, "By next weekend, I will have been." And the others, guess what long activity it might be, like training for the marathon or working on my project.
That sounds like a blast. The more we make it real and connected to their lives, the more likely they'll remember it and not freeze up the next time they hear future perfect continuous.